To the White Eagles podcast. I'm your host, Mitar. If you don't know who I am, I don't blame you. And let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Serbia versus England game, which took place a couple of days ago in Belgrade. And as we all probably know by now, and if you don't, it's right there in front of you, we lost 5-0 to the English. Our heaviest defeat in the history of Serbian football, even under Yugoslavia at home. It didn't get, it couldn't got any worse. Especially with Nikola Milankovic getting sent off, and with Sasha Lukic copping a yellow card, which rules him out of our next game. So both those two players who are our starters are out of the next game. But we lost 5-0. As you can see here, Kane in the 33rd minute, and a couple of minutes later, we didn't even sort of get our heads around that. They scored again. And in the second half, they scored 3 goals, including a penalty. And obviously, our captain got sent off in that game. It could not get as worse. I always have this feeling in my head that if you lose 4-0, you go, okay, that's a soccer scoreline. That's a football scoreline. That's what you generally see. 5-0, now that's a hiding. And, when it gets above that 6-0 when we lost to Holland in 2000, that is a thrashing. That is a hiding. That is shameful. But we were played off the park. It almost seemed like it was boys versus men out there. We didn't have any pace. We didn't have any physicality. They were just always on top of the ball. The English were always there first, and we were always there second. And it showed. They just went straight through us and scored 5 goals. It felt like there was no tactics. There was no sort of place to break them down. We didn't sit back, but then we didn't attack. It was weird. We didn't. I mean, against a team like England, Stojkovic is saying the day before the game, why can't we beat them? Then we go out, get smashed. Then he said, well, what do you expect? Look at the team you're playing. I go, well, then I thought to myself, okay, well, if you had that thought in your head, well, look at the team you're playing. These guys are a great team, as they are, quality. Why don't you just sit back? Why not play defensive and hit him on the counter? Put Vlahovic up front with speed surrounding him and play on the counter attack. You're probably still going to lose. But you're not going to lose 5-0. And it seemed like Stojkovic just has no idea. Obviously he's still going to stay on, but it just seems like he's out of his depth. I've talked about this in other videos. The guy just doesn't know what he's doing. I think when he started, Serbian football was in a dark period. When aren't we in a dark period? We're always in a dark period. And then, he took us to the World Cup. We topped the Nations group, got us to Nation Group A. Then he qualified for the Euros only just. So he's done well on paper. But anyone that watches us play would say, geez, this team just has no idea what's going on out there. We can't pass the group stage. So obviously he's not the man to take us forward. But who's left? Who really wants this job? But then, you still have to give it to Stojkovic. He still has gotten us to tournaments, which is what you at the minimum for what we expect as Serbs, we should be doing always, making tournaments. After that, I don't think he's the right man for the job. We've got some really quality players. We should be doing a little bit better. I don't think we're a team that will make quarters and semis, but definitely a team that should be making past the group stage. And then get from there on, who knows? But when you look at this team against England, I just want to point out, in my optimism before the game, I thought there might be a chance of beating England in this one. If we're ever going to beat England, it's going to be in this game. And I'll tell you why. If you look at the squad England had, let me just mention the names that didn't attend. So Jude Bellingham, Cole Palmer, and Phil Foden were all absent due to fitness issues. And Morgan, and so that doesn't mean that they were injured. England are so talented that they left those 3 world-class players that would be in the Serbian team in a heartbeat. All 3 of those players would be in the Serb team. Easy. He left them out because they weren't fit enough. Incredible. And then you got Saka from Arsenal, who was injured. So you've got 4 superstars, 4 players that would be in the Serb team in a heartbeat. They were left out. And then you think to yourself, well, the guys coming in, they may be good players, but, we've got our best team out there. None of our best players are missing. We've got a good chance of beating England. Sure, boy, was I wrong. And you know what? They thrashed us, lucky, good on them. We always knew that it was going to be England first, and then it was going to be between us and Albania for second. And I always thought, we're going to get it second place and make the World Cup or go to the playoffs, which is going to be very difficult if we even get there. But now you have to say to yourself, there's a good chance we might not finish second. Next game is against Albania and Serbia in October. You don't have Sasha Lukic, you don't have Milenkovic. You've already, you've got players aren't playing 90 minutes for their club teams. Individually, we're better than Albania in every single position. But as a team, I don't think we're better than them as a team. And a team wins games. And I guess Serbia only relies on individuals like Mitrovic and Vlahovic, just a moment of brilliance. Because it doesn't seem like there's any tactics with Stojkovic and his brand of football. But you know what? The next round of games is in 4 weeks. Why? We really need our players playing. And let me just bring up one more thing. Jan Carlo-Simic has gone to our Itihad. God knows where that team is from. When you got your team, your up and coming players going to the Middle East, and your older players who are going to retire soon, Mitrovic. Is there any wonder maybe why we lose to England 5-0? Maybe this is just a norm for us. Maybe it's just something we have to accept, and just be happy that we make tournaments and that we can buy a jersey and buy a hat and support our team at the Maracana. But our expectations, honestly, from some of the comments I read in Twitter, maybe they're just way too high. Maybe we're just a middle team. Best we can do is make a tournament and then play 3 games, give us something to watch on TV, and then Kochi. But that's where I've sort of come to that conclusion that all we are is just a group stage team. I hate saying it. I always thought we could do better. But look, look at this signing. The kid's in his early 20s and he's just taken the money and gone to the Middle East. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, I couldn't care about him. I've never liked that player. So, I don't care that he's over there. Mitrovic, he's another player that should have come back to England. Even in the championship, would have done really well. Well, what can you do? Anyway, as you can see, I'm wearing the 2006. This was meant to be the kit for Serbia-Montenegro for the 2006 World Cup. But then we went to the other Lotto one with the white stripes on the edges there. So, but this was meant to be. It's an all blue kit. It reminded me of the kit we just played with. That's why I decided to put it on. By Lotto, which is a great brand. I wish we had just gone back to Lotto, but the powers that be have decided to go somewhere else with Capelli Sport. Which honestly, I don't really mind Capelli's range. I actually like it. And some of their training gear that I've seen in their shop in Belgrade, just on the Instagram page, it looks very impressive. And I'm definitely, my dad and sister are in Belgrade at the moment, so I'm definitely gonna make them buy me all those training tops. Yeah, they look really good. But anyway, that's enough for me. We've got to wait. We've got 4 weeks to the next round of qualifiers. Let's hope our situation improves, and we'll go from there. I just hope we don't get any stadium bans from the England game. I haven't heard any reports of any, racist comments made to the English players. I hope there hasn't been anything. I want a full capacity. There's rumours that the Albania game is going to be played in Leskovac, which is only a capacity of 8,000 people. I'd love to see 8,000 Serbs crammed into that stadium, just absolutely giving it to them. I'd hate to half the stadium, it's all kids there, and then we got no support in the stands, and then we got problems. We really do. Anyway, but we'll see. Hopefully, we'll probably know next week or two what, if any punishment we're going to get. Anyway, thanks for tuning to White Eagles Podcast. I'm your host, Mick Tate, as always. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. My Instagram channel's in front of me, and I've also got a Twitter X channel by the same name. It's a account for the fans. Anyway, have a good day, and I'll see you soon.